If you want free Call of Duty points, click the link down in the description, install the app, and start earning yourself some free Call of Duty points today. Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin. Today I'm back with another episode of an Infinite Warfare tips and tricks series, and today's video is going to be how to stay alive in Infinite Warfare, how to die less, how to stay alive longer, basically for the people that don't want to be dying a lot. But basically, the thing about this is you want to stay alive, right? But you also want to get some kills. I mean, if how to stay alive longer, the key would just be to hide in the back of your base, to crouch down and just hide in a bush or something. But this is going to be for people that play legitimately how to stay alive longer while getting a bunch of kills. That's basically the whole premise of this video, and that's what I'm going to be talking about during this video. But before we get into that, I have a light goal today. Tonight's light goal is going to be 1,879 likes. So 1,879. I'll throw it up on the screen. If you guys look down and it's not at that many likes yet, or even if it is, drop a like on this thing. Let's try and hit that like goal. Also, click that subscribe button below the video if you guys are new to my channel. Trying to gain as many new subscribers as possible. Welcome everyone to the family and all that sort of stuff. And let's get into this. So how I do these tip videos is I write down a bunch of tips. I think for quite a bit. I think about what really makes this tip good and what makes staying alive good. I look back at my old videos, different stuff like that, and that's basically how I wrote my list out. Now, there's a bunch of tips here on how to survive, how to stay alive longer in Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Some of these tips work for all Call of Duty games, some of them specifically for Infinite Warfare because there's specific perks, specific class setups, stuff like that. Basically, let's get into it. The first thing is you're going to want to stick to the outskirts of the map. Now, what does that mean? Basically, most of these maps are 3-lane maps. You don't want to be in the middle of the map. And this is a very simple reason why. It's very simple. If you're in the middle of the map, you're exposed. Look at all the ways you can get shot by. You can get shot from the north, west, east, south, from the moon, anywhere. You never know with this game with double jumping. If you're in the middle of the map, you are exposed. Now, what I mean by stick to the outskirts of the map is move around the outsides of the map. You guys watch this gameplay here. This gameplay right here is 81 to 13 with the Volk. I was using a grip on it for some reason. I was just testing out attachments. This is an older gameplay from the game. How could it be older? The game just came out. But you guys know what I mean. I stick around the outskirts of the maps, and I pick people off that play the middle of the map. This is a lot easier to do in a game mode like Domination. In a game mode like Defender, you have no idea where the guy's going to take the ball. But in a game mode like Domination, you can play the outskirts of the map, play the sides. If you're going to play the middle of the map, watch how I play the middle. You play the sides of the middle. You don't just run down the middle blatantly. I'll pretty much never do that on any map unless I know that area of the map is clear. You can run down the middle if you know no one's there. But for the most part, sticking to the outskirts of the map is definitely the best way to stay alive. And that's because you can only get shot from certain ways. If I'm on this outside and look where I'm standing right now, the right side of the map is completely jumped off the map. You can't get me from that side, so I only have to watch basically my front and my back. And if I was in the middle of the map, I'd have to watch 4 ways. That's basically the whole design behind staying on the outskirts of the map. Another thing is, like I said, this game is 3 lanes. Pretty much all the maps are 3-lane maps, which means flanking is really prevalent. It's sort of like an old Call of Duty with the way they designed the 3-lane maps. Basically what that means is if everyone is on the left side, you don't really want to rush them straight up on the left side unless you're feeling pretty ballsy. If you want to stay alive, if every single player spawned on the left side, that's when you'd want to cut through the middle or cut through the right side. Like I said, you can cut through the middle if you know no one's there, but you got to watch out for people with ghosts because you can't always trust the radar. That's basically the tip that I would give you guys, is always run flank routes and always stay outside of the middle of the map unless you have to go through the map in the middle or you know it's safe. Next tip is going to be a class setup that you can run. In this game, if you run Ghost Silencer, that's probably the best way to stay alive longer. It's really crazy how much the silencer helps and how much there's been certain situations where I've been behind 4 enemies, I spray 3 of them down, I go to reload because I'm out of ammo, and the 4th guy still hasn't noticed. That's how amazing Ghost Silencer is in this game. Some people don't like it, some people say it's kind of cheap, you're staying off the minimap, challenge me like a man, or whatever you want to say, but Ghost Silencer, no matter what, is going to be good for staying alive. Probably the best. I mean, that's the number 1 tip. Ghost Silencer. And another perk you can run is Recon. Basically what Recon does is one thing it does 2 things. One thing it does is it steals a little bit of the enemy's UAV. Whenever they call in a UAV, it steals the first swipe and it steals the last swipe. They still get it, but you get the swipe as well, which definitely helps you to locate your enemies. If you know where the enemies are on the minimap, you know which routes to take to flank them or to get around to behind them, to get around to their spawn point safely and to stay alive while doing so. And that's basically what I would say there. Ghost, Ghost, Silencer's #1 tips, and Recon also basically it steals the enemy's UAV, and it also makes your minimap show a larger area, which lets you know more of the map. Knowing where enemies are is a key in Call of Duty. For every single tip video, you guys see me talk about the minimap somehow, because it's so important. The minimap is just as important as what's on the middle of your screen, and that's definitely a tip I would give you guys for a class setup. Recon, Ghost, Silencer, perfect class up for staying alive. Another tip is to do with the minimap is the minimap. Some people think it's only helpful when you have a UAV up, and when you don't have a UAV up, some people just don't even look at the minimap. That is not true. A lot of the things about the minimap, you can learn a lot about the enemy's positioning just by knowing where your teammates are. Basically, where your teammates are, or where your teammates are spawning, more importantly, is what you should be watching. Where your teammates are spawning, the enemies are not going to be spawning there, unless you're playing on maybe like shipment from COD 4 or something like that. You know, that map is absolutely crazy. But if my teammates are spawning right here behind me, the enemies are probably spawning on the other side of the map. That's pretty much the enemies usually spawn on the diagonal, the complete opposite side of where your teammates spawn in most game modes, especially Team Deathmatch, Kill Confirm. Those are the most important game modes that this tip can help you out. Just by knowing where your teammates are, you can know where the enemies are, and once you know where the enemies are, obviously take those flank routes and stuff like that to get the kills while staying alive. Now, some more specific things to do with the combat rigs is you can run different payloads. There's the pulsar, which is essentially vision pulse. That helps you know where the enemies are. There's other stuff like there's a back guard, which helps you protect your back from one shot. That can help you stay alive as well. It takes them like one more bullet to kill you in the back if they hit you in the shield. A lot of times I find that when I'm shooting at people with the shield, I just shoot them in the ass, and they like just shoot bullets and take them out, you know, above the shield or below the shield right in the ass, and they really can't do anything about that. And that's basically how you can do that. Also, there's other ways to survive when you get into tight situations, because even if you're maneuvering correctly and you're using all these tips, sometimes you're gonna say, oh crap, 4 enemies just spawned behind me, and what you're going to need to get out of those situations are things like active cam or pulse shift. But in my opinion, the best full-on combat rig setup for staying alive is going to be the Merc with infusion and reactive armor. Now, reactive armor is going to be your kinetic armor. You can save that for those tight situations. It basically gives you more health. You can fight your way out of those tight situations instead of basically something like a phase shift or active camo sort of running away from those tight spots. Reactive ammo is more for fighting your way out. And then infusion basically increases your health regen, which is a big way a lot of people die in this game, is because they get a kill, and obviously you want to challenge your enemies one at a time. You know, you don't want to be running into 4 enemies at once. So you get a kill, you back off, but then the health regen isn't the fastest in this game, and health regen has been really slow for the last few Call of Duty games. But that's why this infusion trait on the Merc combat rig actually helps out a lot, because it regens your health a lot faster. That's probably the best combo, I would say, if you're trying to stay alive. Run those two together. It also gives you you know, you also have the Merc combat rig, so you got the reactive armor and infusion, just 2 things that are literally the full combo for staying alive. Definitely something I would say. Now, the next thing I want to say is more of a play style sort of choice, and that is, you know, some of my tips are play style, some of them are class it up, some of them are just mental tips, some of them are, you know, physical and game tips, basically. And basically, the next one I'd say is be patient. Know the choke points. Now, what is a choke point? A choke point is something like this side of the map here on Skydock, where all the enemies are going to be spawning. There's a bunch of head glitches and stuff like that. And by playing the choke points, basically what I mean is instead of rushing the enemies straight up like I do a lot in my gameplays, and that's because I'm like a really confident player, and I really don't care that much about staying alive a lot of the times. For me, it's just about getting the most kills. But if you're trying to stay alive and you see 4 enemies coming on the mini map, do not rush 4 enemies straight up. Sit on a head glitch at that choke point, and as the enemies come around the corner, pick them off, easy pickings, because no one has really that good of a shot to take you off of a head glitch, or at least most people won't, and you'll be able to do fine in that way. Another tip for that to do with choke points is let your teammates push the hard choke points for you. For example, Genesis, which is essentially strike zone or dome. The B domination, or the big building on that, not the dome side building, but the actual B flag building. That one is, you can't push that safely. There's no way to do it. There's so many corners. There's always going to be a guy hiding behind the bar, or laying down, or in a corner in the first room. So what I recommend doing is, if your teammates are with you there and your teammate's right behind you, just let your teammate go ahead and push that for you and follow him up. Basically trade his life for you to get the kill. Now that can be kind of douchey, I guess, using your teammate as basically, not really cover, but using them as bait kind of. But that's something you got to do, because not only are you getting more kills for yourself, but that's actually helping the greater good of the team. Pushing objectives together, there's nothing better than that. But if you think you're a better player than just the random players in your game, it's obviously better to let them go first. Maybe they'll get the kill, maybe they won't, but you shouldn't shouldn't always be fighting for kills with the random players. That's more something you do when you play with a full party. If it's random players, you can basically play around them, use them to your advantage, and that's another tip to help you stay alive by basically clearing out rooms with your teammates and not doing everything solo. Anyway, drop a like on this thing, boys. 1,870 likes, I think, was the goal of what I said. Subscribe if you guys are new, and sub for a cookie, and don't looky. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great night, and I'm out. Peace.